صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباءهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى أذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب عليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألونكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذوا من دونه آلهة أن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم هامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محصرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسله منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالأرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وهلكنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريح لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاع إلا حين وإذا قيل لهم متقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آيات من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يحسون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفيح في السور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محشرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفسا شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في دلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولا هم ما يدعون سلام قول من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدون هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تأكلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لتمسنا على أعينهم فاستباقوا الصراط فعنا يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسحناهم على ما كانتهم فما استطاعوا مسيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يأكلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أو أولم يروا أنا حلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبوهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محصرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أو لم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هم هاسم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي هلكاه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رحيم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأحثار نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيء أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. صلوات. سورة الفاتحة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء وبقوتك التي قهرت بها كل شيء وكزالها كل شيء وزللها كل شيء وبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء وبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء وبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء وبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء وبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء وبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء وبنور وجهك الذي أضاء له كل شيء يا نور يا قدوس يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تخطئ العصام. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النقم. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء. اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء. اللهم اغفر لي كل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك بذكرك وأستشفي بك إلى نفسك وأسألك بجودك أن تدنيني من قربك وأن تؤذيني شكرك وأن تلهمني ذكرك. اللهم إني أسألك سؤال قاضي متذلل خاشع أن تسامحني وترحمني وتجعلني بقسمك راضيا قانيا وفي جميع الأحوال متواضعا. اللهم وأسألك سؤال من اشتدت فاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته وأزم فيما عندك رغبته. اللهم أزم سلطانك وعلى مكانك وكفي مكرك وزهر أمرك وغلب قهرك وجرت قدرتك ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك. اللهم لا أجد لذنوب غافرة ولا لكبائه ساترة ولا لشيء من عملي القبيح بالحسن مبدلا غيرك. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك ظلمت نفسي وتجرأت بجهلي وسكنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي ومنك علي. اللهم مولاي وكم من كبيه سترته وكم من فاضح من البلاء أقلته وكم من إسار وقيته وكم من مكروه دفعته وكم من ثناء جميل لست أهلا له نشرته. اللهم أزم بلائي وافرت بي سوء حالي وكسرت بأعمالي وكدت بأغلالي وحبسني عن نأفي بؤد آمالي وأكدتني الدنيا بغرورها ونفسي بخيانتها ومثالي. يا سيدي فأسألك بعزتك أن لا يحجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي ولا تفزهني بخفي ما تليت عليه من سري ولا تؤاجلني بالعقوبات على ما عملته في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وإساءتي ودوام تفريطي وجهالتي وكثرة شهواتي وغفلتي. وكن اللهم بعزتك لي في كل الأحوال رؤوفا وعلي في جميع الأمور عطوفا. إلهي وربي من لغيرك أسأله كشف ذري والنظر في عمري. إلهي ومولاي أجريت علي حكما اتبعت في هوى نفسي ولم أحترس في من تأذين عدوي فغرني بما أهواه وأسأده ولا ذلك القضاء فتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعد حدودك وخالفت بعض أوامرك. فلك الحمد ولي في جميع ذلك ولا الحجة لي فيما جرى علي في قضاؤك وألزمني حكمك وبلاؤك. وقد أتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي مؤتذرا نادما منكسرا مستقيلا مستغفرا منيبا مقرا مذعنا مؤترفا لو أجد مفرا مما كان مني ولا مفزعا أتوجه إليه في عمري غير قبولك أذري وإدخالك إياي في صوت من رحمتك. اللهم فاقبل أذري وارحم شدة ذري وفكني من شد والساق. يا رب ارحم زعف بدني وركة جلدي ودكة عظمي. يا من بدأ خلقي وذكري وتربيتي وبري وتغذيتي هبني لابتداء كرمك وسالف برك به. يا إلهي وسيدي وربي أتراك معاذبي بنارك بعد توحيدك وبعد ما انطوى عليه قلبي من معرفتك ولهجا به لسان من ذكرك وأتكده زميري من حبك وبعد صدق التراف ودواي قاضيا لربوبيتك. هيهات أنت أكرم من أن تزي من ربيت أو تبعد من أدنيت أو تشرد من عويت أو تسلم إلى البلاء من كفيته ورحمته. وليت شري يا سيدي وإلهي ومولاي أتسلط النار على وجوه كرت لعظمتك ساجدا وعلى ألسن نطقت بتوحيدك صادقة وبشكرك ماضها وعلى قلوب اضطرافت بالهيهاتك محققة وعلى زمائر هوت من العلم بك حتى صارت خاشية وعلى جوارها صاد الأوتان تعبدك طائية وأشارت باستغفارك مذعنا. ما هاق الظن بك ولا أخبرنا بفضلك عنك يا كريم. يا ربي وأنت تعلم ضعفي عن قليل من بلاء الدنيا وعقوباتها وما يجري فيها من المقاري على أهلها. ألا أن ذلك بلاء ومقروه قليل مقسوه يسير بقاه كثير مدة. فكيف ثمال البلاء الآخرة وجليل وقوع المقاره فيها وهو بلاء تطول مدته ويدوم مقامه ولا يكفف عن أهله لأنه لا يكون إلا عن غضبك وانتقامك وسخطك. وهذا ما لا تقوم له السماوات والأرض. يا سيدي فكيف لي وأنا عبدك الضعيف الذليل الحقير المسكين المستكين. يا إلهي وربي وسيدي ومولاي ليلي الأمور إليك أشكو ولما منها أزج وأبكي لأليم العذاب وشدتي. أملت للبلاء ومدتي فلئن سيرتني للعقوبات مع أعدائك وجمعت بيني وبين أهل بلائك وفرقت بيني وبين أحبائك وأوليائك فهبني يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي وربي صبرت على عذابك فكيف أصبر على فراقك وهبني صبرت على حر نارك فكيف أصبر عن النظر إلى كرامتك. أم كيف أسكن في النار ورجاء عفوك فبعزتك يا سيدي ومولاي أقسم صادقا لئن تركتني ناطقا لأزجن إليك بين أهلها زجيج العاملين ولأصرخن إليك صراخ المستسرقين ولأبكين إليك بكاء الفاقدين ولو نادينك أين كنت يا ولي المؤمنين. يا غاية الأعمال العارفين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا حبيب قلوب الصادقين، ويا إله العالمين. أفتراك سبحانك يا إلهي وبحمدك تسمع فيها صوت عبد مسلم سجن فيها بمخالفته، وذاك طعام عذابها بمعصيته، وهبس بين أطباقها بجرمه وجريرته، وهو يزج إليك زجيج المعامل لرحمتك، ويناديك بلسان أهل توحيدك، ويتوسل إليك بربوبيتك. يا مولاي، فكيف يبقى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمك؟ أم كيف تؤلمه النار وهو يأمل فضلك ورحمتك؟ أم كيف يحرقه لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوته وترى مكانه؟ أم كيف يشتمل عليه زفيرها وأنت تعلم ضعفه؟ أم كيف يتقلقل بين أطباقها وأنت تعلم صدقه؟ أم كيف تزجره زبانيتها وهو يناديك يا ربه؟ أم كيف يرجو فضلك في إتكه منها فتتركه فيها؟ هيهات ما ذلك الظن بك ولا المعروف من فضلك، ولا مشبه لما أعملت به المواهدين من برك وإحسانك، فباليقين أقطعوا لولا ما حكمت به من تعذيب جاهدك وكزيت به من إقلاد معاندك، لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما، وما كان لأحد فيها مقرا ولا مقاما. لكنك تقدست أسماؤك، أقسمت أن تملها من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين، وأن تخلد فيها المعاندين. وأنت جل ثناؤك قلت مبتديا وتولت بالإنعام متقرما: أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يصنعون. إلهي وسيدي، فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها وبالكزية التي هتمتها وحكمتها وغلبت من عليه أجريتها، أن تهب لي في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمته وكل ذنب أذنبته وكل قبيح أسررته وكل جهل عملته كتمته أو أعلنته، أخفيته أو أظهرته، وكل سيئة أمرت بالإثبات الكرام القاتمين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جواره، وكنت أنت رقيب علي من ورائهم وشاهد لما خفي عنهم، وبرحمتك أخفيته وبفضلك سترته، وأن توفر هذا من كل خير أنزلته أو إحسان فضلته أو بر تنشر أو رزق تبسط أو ذنب تغفر أو خطأ تستر. يا ربي يا رب يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي، يا مالك الركي، يا من بيده ناصيتي، يا وليما بذري ومسكنتي، يا كبيرا بفقري وفاقتي. يا ربي يا ربي يا رب، أسألك بحقك وقدسك وعظم صفاتك وأسمائك أن تجعل أوقاتي من الليل والنهار بذكرك مأمورة وبخدمتك موصولة، وأمالي عندك مقبولة، حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي كلها وردا واحدا، وحالي في خدمتك سرمدا. يا سيدي يا من عليه مؤولي، يا من إليه شكوت أحوالي، يا ربي قوي لو خدمتك جواره، واشدد على العزيمة جوانه، وهب لي الجد في خشيتك والدوام في الاتصال بخدمتك، حتى أسرى إليك في ميادين السابقين، وأسري إليك في المبادرين، واشتاق إلى قربك في المشتاقين، وأدنو منك دنو المخلصين، وأخافك مخافة المؤمنين، وأجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين. اللهم ومن أرادني بسوء فأرد، ومن كادني فقد، واجعل من أحسن عبيدك نصيبا عندك، وأقربهم منزلة منك، وأقصهم زلفة لديك، فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك، وجد لي بجودك، واعطف علي بمجدك، واحفظني برحمتك، واجعل لساني بذكرك لهجا، وقلبي بحبك متيما، ومن علي بحسن إجابتك، وأقلني أسرتي، واغفر زلتي، فإنك قضيت على عبادك بإبادتك، وأمرتهم بدعائك، وزمنت لهم الإجابة. فإليك يا ربي نسبت وجهي، وإليك يا ربي مددت يدي، فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي، وبلغني منايا، ولا تكت من فضلك رجائي، واكفني شر الجن والإنس من عدائي. يا سري الرضا اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء، فإنك فعال لما تشاء. يا من اسمه دواء، وذكره شفاء، وطاعته غنى، ارحم من رأس ماله الرجاء، وسلاؤه البقاء. يا سابغ النعم، يا دافع النقم، يا نور المستوحشين في الظلم، يا عالما لا يعلم، صل على محمد وآل محمد، وافعل بما أنت أهله. وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من أهله، وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل
محمد وعجل فرجه.
سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
بسم الله الرحمن Momin, tonight's Rouhani Majlis announcements. First Majlis has been sponsored by the family of Marhum Al-Haj Rustam Ali Bhai Ghulam Singh Rahmatullah for the Saleh Sawab of Marhum Amir Ali Bhai, Habib Ali Andani, Marhum Rustam Ali Bhai Ghulam Singh Rahmatullah, Marhuma Amina Bhai Binti Hassan Ali Kanani, and Kul Marhumins. Next Majlis has been sponsored by the family of Al-Haj Marum Anwar Bhai Ali Bhai Jafar and family for the Isale Sawab of Maruma Zinat Bhai Bashir Megji Marum Bashir Bhai Megji, Marumins of Ladda Megji family, Marumins of Ali Bhai Jafar family, and Marumins of Pyar Ali Mer Ali family, and Kul Marumins. Next Majlis is by the family of Marum Al-Haj Amir Bhai Kaaba and family for the Isale Sawab of Marum Amir Ali Bhai Kaaba's Bar Masik Majlis, and also for the Ruhani Majlis of Kaaba family Marumins, Megji family Marumins, Ismail family Marumins, Huda family Marumins, and Kul Marumins. Next Majlis has been sponsored for the Isale Sawab of Marumins of Hashim family, Jafar family, Marum, Muhammad Ali Bhai Jafar, and Kul Marumins. The next Majlis has been sponsored by brother Dilawar Merchant and family for the Isale Sawab of Marum, Master of Ghulam Bas, Marumins of Merchant family, Marumins of Ladak family, Marumins of Jivraj family. All are humbly requested to recite Surah Fatiha for Kul Marumins. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
اللهم صل على محمد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد واللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم أجمعين. أما بعد, my dear elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First and foremost, we remember all our marhumeens. I just want to remind and recall that you heard in the announcement when Hassan Bhai was making announcement for all those marhumeen for whose Ithal Thawab this majlis has been organized. One of the names recalled was that of Master Ghulam Abbas. Many of you may not know who is this marhum, Master Ghulam Abbas. During the period of 1990s, I don't know the exact year, whether it was 95, 96 or before that, don't remember exact year, but it was 1990s when I had the opportunity to go and recite Majlis at in Majunga in Madagascar. And marhum Master Ghulam Abbas was called to be the reciter of Marathi or Marthia. And I had that opportunity, 12, 13 days that I was together with him. And Allahu Akbar, such a wonderful person he was, and such a humble person. A great reciter. At that time there were many other names, and people used to talk about those great names of the reciters of Marthiyas. But marhum Master Ghulam Abbas was an excellent person. When I came to know about his passing away, I felt grief, for this is a person who, to serve the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, he was always ready. But not only that, he was a sha'ir by himself. He used to write his own poetry. He was a great man. Let's remember him. Also, this year, 2022, is 20 years. 20th of June, 20 years now, marhum Allama Sayyid Saeed Akhtar Ridwi passed away from this world. So let us remember them and all our marhumin, gift them with Surah Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. One loud salawat, please. Oh. My elders, my brothers and sisters, we have come to the last part of our discussion on the moral traits. I'm going to jump straight to the topic today because I will make the conclusion at the end of this series. And before we proceed, thank you very much for all those who participated in the poll last week in order to say which subject they would like us to discuss, both in the ladies' side as well as in the gents' side. The majority wanted discussion about the stories from the Quran. So inshallah, from next week, we will begin the stories from the Quran. And we will begin with those stories which are not discussed. We discuss about Nabi Musa, we discuss about Nabi Yusuf, we discuss about the other prophets, but there are other stories in there which are not discussed. So we are going to discuss, and in that we are going to learn many things. I just want to say one thing. And this is for children. So those parents who may be listening at home, and if they're not listening, maybe when you get the opportunity, encourage them to send their children. Because in between, in these lectures, I will also be discussing Quranic Arabic. So I'll be teaching few words. This will be especially for the children. They will pick it up very quickly, right? And so as they read the verses of the Holy Quran, maybe they will come to a word and say, yes, we learnt this. And they will know the meaning. My idea is, inshallah, introduce the children to the understanding of the Holy Quran by starting with understanding the words of the Holy Quran. So let's go to the subject now, and we go to the first thing. Okay, so our discussion today is about keeping one's honor. Every one of us wants to be honored. In other words, every one of us wants that the others should respect us. Similarly, you sitting here, you would be expecting that I respect you, you respect me, each other's respect. But that respect has to be cultivated. That respect you yourself have to maintain. If you keep that respect within yourself, the others will respect you. This is important. So, usually people do not pay attention to a poor person. This is in the society. Right? How many of you, I'm pointing myself first before I tell you, as to a person walking on the street, tattered clothes and going there, you think I would go to ask him, Baba, why are you like this? But if I see someone driving a Mercedes, and I know him, I will go to him and tell him, Kyare lidiya? Right? Now, usually people do not respect poor people. For such person, it is difficult to acquire a good social standing in society, even amongst Muslims. I'm not going to elaborate on that. You will have witnessed this when you go and visit Muslim countries. You can see even in the Muslim societies, the respect to the poor is not there. Generally, I'm not talking that someone would say, but I am respecting. Generally, I'm talking about it. Okay? So, let's go to the next slide. Right? So, let's go now to understanding, maintaining the self-respect. I will read the verse of the Holy Quran. Then I'll request one of the girls to read the meaning. Okay? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. يحسبهم الجاهل أغنياء من التعفف تعرفهم بسيماهم لا يسألون الناس إلا الحافة. Okay? Right. Who is going to read?
The unaware suppose them to be well off because of their reserve. You recognize them by their mark. They do not ask the people importunately.
Importunately. Import. Okay, importunately. Let's first understand the meaning of the word importunately. I will give you the background of this verse. Importunately means a person persistently going to ask. Right? There are people who persistently, they have the habit of going and asking, madad karo, madad karo, madad karo. Help me, right? Or there are sometimes, let us say, very aggressive, right? You have to give me whether you like it or not, right? These are importunately, okay? Now, this story is about when the Prophet came to Medina, right? Boys, you are listening. Girls, you are listening, right? Understand this. When the Prophet came to Medina, there were many people from Mecca who also came with the Holy Prophet. But when they came to Mecca, they had left all their goods in Mecca. They had to live secretly. So they had left all their goods in Mecca. When they come to Medina, the only thing that they had was their clothes that they were wearing. Right? They did not have any place to stay at home or at any particular place. There were no hotels at that time. Right? They did not have money. But they had left Mecca to come to Medina in order to protect their faith. They did not want to return to idol worshipping because in Mecca, the elders of the Quraysh, the idol worshippers used to trouble the Muslims, used to torture the Muslims. So they left and they came to Medina. They don't have any place to stay. What did the Holy Prophet do? When the Prophet built a mosque, outside the mosque, there was a kind of a shed. That shed in Arabic is called Sufa. And it is known as, they are known as the people who used to stay there. They are known as Ashabus Sufa. We used to stay there, okay? People would come, people of Medina would come and help them, sometimes give them food. Sometimes they used to have only one date for their meal, for the whole day, just one date. Whatever they used to have, but they had one good habit, and that was that they never used to go and extend their hands, please help me. This is what the verse is talking about. They used to maintain their self-respect. They used to maintain their self-respect. Okay? So, let's go now to the next slide. Okay? Now, what is the outlook of our fourth Imam regarding this? Okay, so Mavair, can you read that out, please?
Wealth and property are of no value for Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, but he asks Allah to preserve his honor.
Right? When you look at this dua, okay, you will find that when you look at Imam Ali Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, I mentioned, I think it was last Friday in the khutbah, I mentioned that the policy of the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt is not to amass, not to gather. Their policy is to give. Their policy is to give. And that is why today, when you have difficulties, when you have problems, you ask wasila of A'immah Tahirin alayhimus salam. You ask wasila of the Prophet. You ask their wasila because you know that you are asking from one whose policy is not to refuse, but whose policy is give, help, assist. Right? Now, in Imam Ali Zainul Abidin al-Islam, Imam Ali Zainul Abidin al-Islam, according to one tradition, in one go, planted 150 date palm trees. You know what is 150 date palm trees? Date palm trees doesn't give fruits only once. Every year it goes on giving. Every year it goes on giving. And the amount that is collected is very high. And Imam Ali Zainul Abidin had planted all those trees. So when it comes down to wealth, it did not carry much importance for Imam Ali Zainul Abidin. But at the same time, there was important thing, and that was that Allah preserves His honor. Okay? So how does Imam talk about it? Next slide. Okay? So this is verse number or sentence number 26. Okay? Maybe you won't be able to see. It's 26 over here of this dua. Okay? How many sentences are in this dua? Well done. 30 sentences in this dua. And this is number 26. So we have left many in between, but I had mentioned last week, right? Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa sun wajhi bil yasar.
O Allah, bless Muhammad and his household. Save my face through ease.
Save my face through ease. In other words, O Allah, I am praying to you that my honor, my respect, my dignity is saved through not from begging, but something which I have. Right? So I don't need to go and ask the people. Next slide, please. Okay? وَلَا تَبْتَذِي الْجَاهِ بِالْإِقْتَارِ. Okay? Give it to Aoun.
And demand not to my
Demean. And demean.
and demean not my dignity through neediness.
Okay? And demean not my dignity. Remember I'm talking to the children, and children will, inshallah, understand. The elders do already understand. That when a person extends his hand to ask from someone, because, for example, he does not have enough money in the house, maybe to buy grocery, maybe to buy something which will be of help to him, which is he requires, he goes and begs from someone and say, my brother, if you don't mind, this month I am having difficulties. Can you please give me some help? When a person extends his hand, he is selling his dignity to the other person. And that is why in hadith it is said, if a person comes to you and asks for something, and if you are able to help him, help him. For he has sold his dignity to you. Now save your dignity by giving it to him. Right? So, but Imam says, demean not my dignity through neediness. Right? Let's go to the next slide. Right? فَاسْتَرْزِقْ أَهْلَ رِزْقِكْ. Okay? So,
lest I seek provision from those whom you have provided.
okay? Oh Allah, if you make me needy, then it will so happen that I will go and ask from someone whom you have provided. And I don't want to go there, Allah. Right? Let's go to the next one. وَأَسْتَعْطِيَ شِرَارَ خَلْقِكَ. Right?
And ask for bestowal from the worst of your creatures.
Okay. It is possible that I am going to ask from someone my neediness to fulfill whatever I need. I am going to ask from someone to whom you have provided that risk, and that person could be the worst of the creatures. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay. فافتتنا بحمد من أعطاني وأبطل بذم من منعني.
Then I would be tried by praising him who gave to me, with blaming him who held back from me.
Okay, so two simple example. I went to one person, I asked him, he gave it to me. I went to second person, he refused me. The one who gave me, I will start praising him. The one who did not give me, I will start blaming him. You understand? That's what Imam is saying. Imam begins with, make it easy for me, so I get my rizq. Right? And I do not become needy, because if I become needy, then I will need to go and ask. And when I go to ask, I am removing my dignity, or I am selling my dignity. And I'm going to ask from those whom you have provided. And that person could be the worst of the creature. But the one who gives me, I will praise him. The one who refuses me, I will blame him. Okay? I think this is the last part now coming here. Okay? Next slide. وَأَنْتَ مِن دُونِهِمْ وَلِيُّ الْأَعْطَاءِ وَالْمَنْعِ. Okay, who is it? Right? Yeah, it's working. It's working.
While you not
they
are patron of giving and holding back.
Okay? Oh Allah, it is you who gives, right? And it is you who will not give. Okay? You are the one who is wali of everyone in this world. Who is our provider? Allah Azza wa Jal. These are sentences that, sentence number 26 that we have read and we have tried to understand. Now a little more explanation, please. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so that, who is from the girls' side? Someone, please, very quickly. Quickly, please.
Teaching of the fourth Imam alayhi salam is that one has to be a respected member of the society. He will be respected if his
Visage,
clothing, attitude, and his valuable works are praised.
Okay. How does a person become respected in the society? Right? Visage, this is appearance, right? Sometimes, right? So handsome, so beautiful, visage. Okay? And even the clothing. That's why I'm always surprised. Seeking forgiveness, please. From every one of you, seeking forgiveness. But sometimes when I see people coming to say their namaz, wearing t-shirts, and that t-shirt has got all sorts of these things, I ask this question. Don't we realize in front of whom we are going to stand? That is, let's go and stand with respect, right? Let's try to understand. This clothing also has effect, right? And then the attitude, how I conduct myself with the others, my attitude, okay? And what work, if I'm doing good works in the society, people will respect me. If I am doing work which is creating differences amongst the people in the society, or I'm doing work which is harming the others, then people will not respect. But if we do good works, people are going to respect. And that is why you still remember those people who have passed away many years, but we still remember them for the works that they have done. Okay? Give me, I am challenging you, give me one incident where people remember those who have sacrificed their life 1400 years ago. It would be very easy to forget it, very easy. But when people do good works, and if it is done for the sake of Allah, Allah will make sure that it is remembered. Okay, let's move please, next slide. Right, so who is going to be now saying from the boys' side or girls' side? Boys, okay, Imran, quickly please.
By acquiring a good social standing, he can discharge his religious obligations in a better way. A person who is in need of others is forced to extend his hands towards them. In this case, if he is helped by them, he is humiliated, and if he is refused, he endures with humiliation.
Worst humiliation, okay? All right? Very simple. What is the result? Boys, girls, listen very carefully. Why it is important that you, when you grow up, you make sure that you are earning your own. Right? That is, you are earning, then you will get married, you will have a family, and the family will be your responsibility. So when you are doing that, why you have to work? So that you do not have to face humiliation of the other people. Right? A hand that gives is better than the hand that asks. Understood, boys? What did you understand? Yes. Mazahir, please. All right, so when you give, that is much better than extending your hand in order to ask, okay? To give is better. And in order to give, you have to be self-sufficient. You have to be self-sufficient. And this is what it says here, okay? It helps you in performing your religious obligation. It helps you to maintain your dignity, to maintain your honor, okay? Let's go to the next slide. Okay? This is while the treasures of the heavens and the earth are in the hand of Allah, who can meet the needs of the man out of his infinite mercy and bounty, and thereby preserve his honor. Okay? So, from the elderly people, middle-aged people, what is the lesson that you will take from here? Children, you will keep quiet for a little while. Okay? Tell me please, what lesson will you take from here? Anyone, please. Okay, go and pass it to Shabir Bhai, please.
One of the lessons we can learn from this is that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who provides for all of our needs. And it is therefore through His grace and His mercy that He preserves our honor as well by giving us everything which we have in our lives.
Okay, so 2 points Shabir Bhai has made. Number one is the provider is Allah Azza wa Jal. The second point is that through this way, He protects our honor and He protects our dignity. Did I say it correctly, Shabir Bhai? Anyone from the ladies' side? Elderly, anyone who wants to say, please. No one? Okay.
I'll give it a go.
Sure.
The lessons I've learned so far is that I think also we should be content with what we have as well.
Okay.
And again, better in giving as well. So whatever we have, we should be able to share and give.
Thank you. I like the point, content. Let us be content with whatever we get. And yes, another important point is that if you are able and if you have extra, you share it out with the others, okay? We cannot be like the Ahlul Bayt of the Holy Prophet, right? They had that trust in Allah Azza wa Jal that they would remain hungry, but they would make sure that the other person does not remain hungry. Okay? One lesson. Please, one more lesson I want someone to tell. Yes, sir, Ali, please. Yes, sir. Yes. Excellent point. Brother Ali has given excellent point. That planting of 150 trees did not come like this. Imam woke up one morning, today I'm going to plant 150 trees. No. There was thinking, there was planning, and then there was work. So in order to gain this dignity and respect, it's not going to come like this. Because I have white beard, so I want everyone to respect me. Forget it. I have to build my respect. I have to earn my respect. One way is you work for it. One point which I want to make, and then I think we will come to the conclusion of the whole thing. And that point I want to make is, when this is while the treasures of the heavens and the earth are in the hand of Allah, remember one point. You always keep connection with the one who has that thing. And this is one important lesson beside all the lessons that we have just discussed. One important point. Connection with Allah has to be strong. Connection with Allah has to be very, very strong. And if it is very strong, then you will feel yourself automatically that it is Allah who is looking after me. Okay? Right. Let's go to the next slide. Right? And I am now going to read this verse out. This is from Surah Hud. Surah Yunus. وَإِن يَمْسَسْكَ اللَّهُ بِضُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُوَ وَإِن يُرِدْكَ بِخَيْرٍ فَلَا رَادَّ لِفَضْلِهِ يُصِيبُ مَن يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ. Give it here, please, to Shahzad Bhai, please.
Should Allah visit you with some distress, there is no one to remove it except Him. And should He desire any good for you, none can stand in the way of His grace. He grants it to whomever He wishes of His servants. And He is all the forgiving, the all merciful.
Right? This is what Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Holy Quran. Okay? If Allah does not want, no one in the world will be able to grant it to you. And if Allah wants it, no one will be able to stop it. And that is why I say, strong connection with Allah Azza wa Jal. He is the provider. Right? I will go and ask Him. If it is good for me, Allah will provide it for me. If it is not good for me, Allah will say, not now, later on. Right? Or maybe something better than this will come to you. Right? So remember this, that Surah Yunus, Surah number 10, verse number 107. Remember this. It is Allah who controls everything. If He wishes not to give, no one will be able to give you. If He wishes to give you, no one will be able to stop it. Okay? Let's go to the next one, please. Right? Now, I am now coming to the conclusion of the 8 lessons that we have done, 8 interactive series that we have done, and let's pick up one message, okay? So, boys and girls, be ready. I will ask you to read. Okay, so let's go to number 1. Okay, so can you pass to the auntie there? That's my niece. If you can, okay. Just read the English part, please.
Cause my faith to reach the most perfect faith and make my certainty the most excellent certainty.
This is what Imam asks. So, lesson number 1. We all strive in order to reach to the most perfect faith. We all strive and work hard in order to reach to have that yaqeen, which is the best yaqeen. Afdalul yaqeen. Okay? Lesson number 2. Okay? Intention and best of works. Okay? So, pass it on behind there, please. Just the English part, please.
And take my intention to the best of intentions, and my works to the best of works.
Okay, right. I will request you boys, when you are speaking, try and take out your voice a bit louder, please. Okay? So that it becomes clear, become more, what we say, forceful. People will understand and take my intention to the best of intentions and my works to the best of works. Right? We have discussed all this. We are just now rounding it up and coming to the lessons that we have learned. Let's go to the next slide. All right, from the girls' side, someone please.
And let me pass my days in that for which you have created me.
Okay. Why did Allah create us? In order to worship Him. And this is what Imam says. Let my days pass in order to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. You have created me for your worship. Let my days pass. Not worship of Shaitaan, not worship of other things. Worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. Lesson number 3. Lesson number 4. Okay? Here, pass it on to him. Okay, you keep that with you now. Okay? Sit here. Keep that with you. Yeah.
Let good flow out from my hands upon the people and efface it not by my making them feel obliged.
Okay? So you want to be a useful member of the society. You want to be a useful member of the humanity. Let good flow out from my hand. Whatever I do is only good and good and good. Okay? And after doing that good, I go and bury it. I go and put it in the sea. I do not talk about it. Because I've given it to Allah, Allah will protect it. Okay? So let's go to the next slide, please. All right? From the girl's side.
Exalt me and affect me not with pride. Make me worship you and corrupt not my worship with self-admiration.
All right? So, kibr and ujb. These two things have to go away. These are qualities of Shaitaan. Right? Shaitaan had told Allah Azza wa Jalla, I had prayed so many thousands of years. Right? And in return, he asked for what? To stay alive until the day of judgment. And Allah said, you will not remain up to the day of judgment, but you will remain up to a certain time. Okay? So at the same time, we should be praying to Allah, Allah, give maut to Shaitaan as quickly as possible. Right? Because his time has to come to an end sometimes. Okay? Not up to the day of judgment. And ego, you know. Ego is something which has destroyed people. It is ego today which is making Russia and Ukraine fight. Ego. For what? What does a human being take with him in the grave? Tell me. What will he take? Tell me. His ego? Then there will be those angels there. Right? Which more powerful missile than what America has. Remember that. No pride. Right? We are simple human beings. Simple. And we want to remain simple. Let's go to the next one. Right? Perpetual guidance. Is it whose chance now? Is it boys? Is it girls or boy? Okay, sorry. 1 minute, Imran. Okay?
Give me to joy sound guidance, which I seek not to replace, a path of truth which
I swerve not.
an intention of right conduct in which I have no doubt.
Okay, all right. So you remember that when we discussed about this, we discussed about the perpetual guidance, the dua. رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذَا هَدَيْتَنَا. O Allah, let not my heart swerve after you have guided me, after you have shown me. So in order to have perpetual guidance, number one is that you must have sound guidance, the right guidance. Number two is that should be the path of truth. And number three is that you have that intention to conduct yourself according to that what you have been taught. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Right? Replacing evil acts with good and virtuous acts. I will go through that very quickly. Replacing hatred with love, envy with affection, suspicion with trust, enmity of those close with friendship, disrespect of womb relatives with devotion, abandonment of relatives with help, fear with sweetness of security. On this one side, you have all these evil acts, hatred, envy, suspicion, enmity. You are praying to Allah Azza wa Jal. In order to have those good moral traits, you replace them. If I have hatred for a person, I pray to Allah instead of hatred, I have love for him. If I don't like my relatives, especially, example, my brothers or my sisters, instead of that, I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that I am devoted to them. I am ready to help them out. Okay? Remember that. This is building up of those characters. And the last lesson. Okay? Remember this. The verse of the Holy Quran. Idfa' billati hiya ahsan. Repel evil with what is best. This is what Quran teaches us. Idfa' billati hiya ahsan. If someone is dishonest with you, you pray to Allah that instead of that, let him give you good counsel. Okay? If a person is separating from you, meaning I don't want to have any connection, you are telling Allah, let there be some connection with good devotion. And if a person is depriving me, then you give him a lot free without any problem. In other words, you are praying for others. If God forbids they have some evil traits in them, you pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that they have all these good traits. Okay? This is, in very short, the conclusion of all that which we have done for 8 lessons or 8 interactive sessions that we had. And I told you last week that I have not done at all the complete dua. Inshallah, sometimes later on, we will take the other verses. And inshallah, from next week, we will have the program of stories from the Holy Quran, inshallah. I hope that many people will join. Allow me today to recite the Masaib in English, so my children also can understand as to whenever we remember Imam Hussein alayhi salam, our hearts are always filled with grief and our hearts are filled with sorrow. Though we are remembering him, or someone, when someone is reciting after thousands of years, we feel that what are the difficulties and what was the situation of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala. What had happened to the children then? And how did the children at that time face the situation? We know that on the day of Ashura, the small children were crying out, Al-Atash, Al-Atash, Al-Atash. And we can understand from there, when we even hear this, we cry, tears come out of our eyes. But my dear children, my dear brothers and sisters, imagine the situation of a person who had witnessed this all on the day of Ashura. It wouldn't be surprising that Imam Ali Zainul Abidin alayhi salam lived for 35 years after the martyrdom, after the tragedy of Karbala. But for those 35 years, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam used to remember, and he used to weep whenever water was brought for him for wudu. Imam used to cry. Whenever Imam used to see someone, a butcher who wanted to slaughter an animal, Imam used to ask him, have you fed him with water? And that person used to say, Mullah, but it is you people who have taught us. Why wouldn't we feed them with water? Why wouldn't we give them water? At that time Imam used to cry out, alas, my father, he was slaughtered like a lamb. He was slaughtered like a sheep. Imam always used to remember that. And so many other difficulties, that whenever Imam alayhi salam was asked, O Mawla, where did you face the most difficulties? Imam used to say 3 times, Asham, Asham, Asham. I do not know exactly why Imam said it 3 times, but it is possible Imam said this when remembering the streets of Sham, where the ladies were paraded and the heads of the martyrs were together there. People were throwing stones and people were throwing fire onto this caravan, onto these captives of Karbala. And maybe second time Imam remembered the Sham is when they were presented in front of Yazid. Yazid, who was sitting on his throne. In front there was the head of Imam on the tray. Imam Ali Zainul Abidin saw himself, the head of his father. They were tied in chains and ropes. And the third time Imam remembered, Sham would be because of the prison of Sham, where it is said that there was no cover, whether it was sunshine or whether it was cold. The captives of Karbala had to suffer. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Please raise your hand, join me in dua. Let us pray to Allah Azza wa Jal. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma anfa'na bil ilm, wa zayyinna bil hilm, wa jammilna bil afiyah, wa karrimna bil taqwa. Inna waliyyi Allahu alladhi nazzala al-kitab, wa huwa yatawalla as-salihin. والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Let's recite one surah Fatiha and gift it to all the marhumin. Al-Fatiha.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله السلام عليك يا وارث علي أمير المؤمنين ولي الله السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين فلعن الله أمة قتلت ولعن الله أمة ظلمت ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأسلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الردي الزكي الهادي المهدي وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وأعلم الهدى والأروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسوله أني بكم مؤمن وبأيابكم موقن بشرائع ديني وخواتم أملي وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى أجسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم زيارة حضرت علي أكبر السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله السلام عليك يا ابن نبي الله السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا ابن الحسين الشهيد السلام عليك أيها الشهيد وابن الشهيد السلام عليك أيها المظلوم وابن مظلوم لعن الله أمة قتلت ولعن الله أمة ظلمت ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به زيارة الشهداء كربلاء السلام عليكم يا أولياء الله وأحباء السلام عليكم يا أصفي الله وأوداء السلام عليكم يا أنصار دين الله السلام عليكم يا أنصار رسول الله السلام عليكم يا أنصار أمير المؤمنين السلام عليكم يا أنصار فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي محمد الحسن بن علي الزكي الناصح السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي عبد الله بأبي أنتم وأمي طبتم طابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم وفزتم فوزا عظيما فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم زيارة حضرت عباس السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك أيها العبد الصالح المطيع لله ولرسله وأشهد أنك قد جاهدت ونصحت وصبرت حتى أتاك اليقين لعن الله الظالمين لكم من الأولين والآخرين والحقهم بدرك الجحيم
السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين ولا تسة المعصومين من ذريتك علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهور. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن عليك حسن للحسن ثلاث علي وبارك فيها صحتي في كل ساعة وعيون وحاسة وعيون وحاسة وعيون وعينا حتى تسعوا أذى دولة فتوا فيها تيلا صلوات.